Let's be brutally honest. Most men don't know how to be the type of man women can't resist. They beg, chase, and lose their dignity, all for the illusion of love. But here's the reality. Women don't chase what's easy. They don't go after men who beg for their attention or drop everything just to please them. No, women are drawn to strength, self-respect, and emotional independence. You might think that giving her everything, being overly available, or doing whatever it takes to make her happy will win her heart. But that's a mistake. The truth is, if you want her to come back, if you want her to miss you, if you want her to crave your presence, it's not about chasing or being desperate. It's about being the man who values himself above all else. This isn't about playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about tapping into a mindset that has stood the test of time. Stoicism. The Stoic man understands his worth, never compromises his principles, and doesn't allow anyone, especially a woman, to steal his peace of mind. Women can sense this kind of strength and self-sufficiency. They find it irresistible. Now, before you get upset, thinking this is all about cold-heartedness or arrogance, let me clarify. This is about having a mindset that makes you so valuable, so complete, that women can't help but be drawn to you, even when you're not trying. If you adopt this attitude and stick to these principles, she will always come back to you, whether you want her to or not. In the next few sections, I'll show you exactly how to tap into this power and why it works every time. But here's the controversial truth. You need to stop chasing her and start building your own life. That's the real secret. 1. Stop chasing, start living. Gentlemen, here's a truth that many of you refuse to accept. Chasing a woman only makes you look weak. Women are drawn to men who have their own life, their own ambitions, and their own goals. When you're constantly chasing her, you're telling her that she's the center of your world. And here's the kicker. You're never going to attract someone who knows their worth by putting them on a pedestal. Men who chase women are desperate. They may think they're showing love, but all they're doing is showing neediness. Neediness is not attractive. When you stop chasing, it's a game changer. Instead of trying to win her over, start living a life that's so fulfilling that she's the one trying to catch your attention. When you stop chasing, it shifts the dynamic. Women start to see you as someone worth chasing, someone who doesn't need her validation to feel whole. And here's the secret. When you're not chasing, you're unpredictable. You're not available every second of the day. You're out there living your life, meeting your goals, and being the best version of yourself. That's magnetic. Let's take a real-life scenario. Imagine you've been texting a woman every day, reaching out constantly and always being available. You're waiting for her response, always eager, always chasing. Then, one day you take a break. You stop texting her for a couple of days, focus on yourself, and prioritize your life over the endless texting. After a while, she reaches out. Why? Because when you stopped chasing, you gave her space to see your value. She's wondering, where did he go? Why hasn't he texted me? You stopped being the chaser and started living your own life. This shift will change everything. You don't need her approval to feel good about yourself. When you stop chasing, you put your energy into building yourself up. That's when women take notice and come to you, naturally. 2. Self-respect is irresistible. Gentlemen, let me tell you something. Self-respect is the foundation of all attraction. You may think that being available, being overly kind, or bending over backward will win a woman's heart, but it's not the case. In fact, women don't respect men who don't respect themselves. When you respect yourself, you set a standard that says, I'm worth it. If you want to be part of my life, you'll have to meet my standards. Self-respect means having boundaries. It means not settling for less than you deserve. It means walking away from toxic situations and people who don't treat you well. Women can feel it when you have self-respect. They can sense it. It's magnetic. When you respect yourself, you don't chase after a woman who isn't interested. You don't tolerate disrespect or low effort. You understand that your worth isn't tied to her approval. When you hold yourself in high regard, you make it clear that you will not tolerate being treated like an option. And that, my friends, is what women find irresistible. The problem is, a lot of men don't practice self-respect. They'll put up with bad behavior, make excuses, or keep pursuing someone who clearly isn't reciprocating. That's a lack of self-respect. Self-respect means understanding that if someone doesn't value you, they don't deserve you. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you're dating a woman, and she constantly cancels plans last minute or doesn't put in the effort to make things work. A man with self-respect wouldn't tolerate this. He'd walk away because he knows his time and energy are valuable. He doesn't beg, he doesn't chase. He keeps his standards high. Women will respect that. They'll see that you're not afraid to walk away from something that doesn't meet your standards. And when you do that, they begin to see you in a completely different light. They start to value you more. In the end, self-respect isn't just about how you treat others. It's about how you treat yourself. It's about showing the world that you know your worth and are not willing to settle for less than you deserve. Women are naturally drawn to this confidence. It's irresistible. 3. Be the man who doesn't need her, gentlemen. Listen up. One of the most powerful things you can do in a relationship or dating situation is be the man who doesn't need her. I know it sounds counterintuitive. You might think that in order to win a woman over, you need to be constantly available, constantly pursuing her and showing her that she's your everything. But that's actually a recipe for disaster. Women want a man who is independent, who has his own life, and who doesn't depend on her for validation or fulfillment. Let me break it down for you. When you need someone, you give away your power. When you need her approval, her affection, her attention, you're placing your happiness in her hands. And let me tell you this, that's unattractive. A man who is needy is not a man who's respected. He's not seen as strong or confident. He's seen as someone who lacks purpose and is too focused on seeking someone else's approval. When you become the man who doesn't need her, you show that you're self-sufficient. You have your own goals, your own passions, your own life, outside of the relationship. And that, my friends, is incredibly attractive. It says, I'm happy on my own, but I'm also open to something amazing with you if it fits into my life. The key here is emotional independence. This doesn't mean being distant or cold. It means not relying on her emotional presence to feel validated or fulfilled. You need to be whole before you meet her. A woman doesn't want to be your emotional crutch. She wants a partner, not a fixer-upper. She wants to know that you're capable of living a full, rich life on your own. When you don't need her, you stop chasing after her. You stop over-texting, over-calling, or over-pleasing. You let her come to you. And when she sees that you have a life outside of her, it drives her crazy in the best way. It makes her want to be part of your world, not because she feels obligated, but because she sees your value. At the end of the day, you have to be the man who doesn't need her, because when you stop needing her, she'll start wanting you more than ever. 4. No more begging. Be calm. Be stoic. Listen carefully, because this is something you need to understand. Men who beg for attention, affection, or validation are weak. And I'm not here to sugarcoat it. I'm here to give you a reality check. If you've ever found yourself in a position where you're desperate for her to like you, desperate for her to notice you, or desperate for her approval, it's time to wake up and change your approach. Begging, pleading, or chasing only shows her that you don't have control over your emotions, and you certainly don't have control over the situation. When you beg, you lose all your power. And that's the last thing you want. Men who beg are desperate, and desperation is one of the least attractive traits you can display. Women aren't looking for someone to rescue them or to stroke their ego constantly. They want a man who is in control of himself, who isn't swayed by his emotions, and who can handle life's challenges with a calm demeanor. This is where Stoicism comes into play. Stoicism isn't about being cold or detached. It's about being calm, collected, and rational, no matter the situation. It's about learning how to control your impulses and not letting your emotions dictate your actions. When she tests you, when she's distant, or when she tries to pull away, you stay calm. You can't control how she acts, but you can control how you react. Stop chasing her approval and start showing her that you don't need her to validate your worth. A Stoic man is strong, unwavering, and unbothered. He's a man who doesn't make decisions based on emotional highs and lows. He knows that his value doesn't change because of someone else's actions. And let me tell you, this calmness is what attracts her most. But here's the tough love. If you've been begging or acting desperate, you've been doing it all wrong. You've been handing over your power without realizing it. Stop looking for constant reassurance from her. Stop seeking validation from her or anyone else. Your worth is intrinsic, not dependent on someone else's opinion. Be calm, be strong, be stoic. When you stop begging and start mastering your emotions, everything will change. Women respect a man who can remain calm, handle rejection, and keep his composure. And they're drawn to it. So stop begging and start showing her the true power of a man who's in control of himself. 5. Create mystery. Don't reveal everything. Gentlemen, if you want to keep a woman interested in you, you need to understand one simple truth. Mystery is your greatest weapon. You don't have to share everything about yourself. In fact, revealing too much too soon is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Women, like men, are attracted to things they don't fully understand. When you reveal all your cards too early, you take away the thrill of discovery and turn yourself into an open book that anyone can read. This is not attractive. The mystery doesn't come from pretending to be someone you're not. It comes from letting her wonder, making her curious, and leaving certain parts of yourself unexplored. It's about leaving something to the imagination. When you reveal everything about your past, your feelings, and your plans too quickly, you remove all the intrigue, and suddenly, there's nothing left for her to discover. The truth is, women are naturally drawn to men who don't wear their hearts on their sleeves. The key to creating mystery is about what you don't say, what you don't share, and what you choose to keep to yourself. It's important to stay a bit elusive, not in a manipulative way, but in a way that keeps the intrigue alive. Women don't need to know everything about you on the first date or in the first few weeks. Your life, your values, your beliefs should unfold naturally, not in one long monologue. Think about it. How many times have you met someone who is an open book, who tells you everything from the beginning? Sure, it's nice at first, but it quickly becomes boring and predictable. It's the same with relationships. If you show all your cards right away, you'll lose the game before it even begins. Women are drawn to men who are a bit unpredictable, who leave a little to the imagination. It's the mystery that keeps them coming back, wanting to know more. You don't need to hide parts of yourself. Just don't reveal everything all at once. Let her uncover pieces of you over time. Give her room to be curious, and that will keep her invested in the relationship. You'll hold her attention much longer, and she'll begin to see you as someone intriguing, someone who is worth getting to know more deeply. Remember, mystery is not about being dishonest. It's about creating space for curiosity and desire to grow. So, the next time you're talking to a woman, ask yourself, do I really need to reveal everything now? If the answer is no, keep a little mystery. 6. Be emotionally independent. Emotional independence is one of the most attractive qualities a man can have. It's the ability to remain balanced, composed, and self-sufficient, no matter what's happening around you. Men who are emotionally independent don't rely on others, especially women, for validation, happiness, or stability. This independence comes from being secure in who you are and not needing someone else to complete you. You are your own source of happiness. Here's the thing. When you rely too heavily on someone else for your emotional well-being, you become dependent. This dependency leads to desperation, and no woman wants a man who is desperate for her attention, love, or approval. Desperation comes off as weakness, and women are attracted to strength, not weakness. Being emotionally independent means that you don't base your mood on how others treat you. You can stay grounded even if things aren't going perfectly in your personal life or relationship. Think about this. When a man is emotionally independent, he doesn't constantly chase after validation or approval. He doesn't need constant reassurance. He has his own purpose, his own passions, and his own identity. He is not defined by anyone else. When you are emotionally independent, your confidence naturally increases because you are not looking for others to tell you how great you are. You know your worth. The key to emotional independence is self-awareness and self-care. You need to prioritize your own needs and ensure that your emotions are in check before you allow someone else to influence them. If you're constantly looking to a woman to make you feel happy, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. This emotional dependency will push her away because it creates pressure that no healthy relationship needs. If you want a woman to respect you, respect yourself first. Don't let your emotions be at the mercy of her actions. Be the man who has control over his feelings, regardless of the circumstances. When you stop relying on her for emotional fulfillment, you become more attractive. For example, when you go on a date or hang out with a woman, don't overthink her every move or word. Keep your emotional state steady, no matter what happens. If she cancels last minute, don't let it ruin your day. Stay calm, confident, and continue with your plans. When you show that you can thrive on your own, you'll draw her in even more. 7. Stop being overly available. One of the biggest mistakes many men make in relationships is being too available. This may sound counterintuitive, but it's crucial to understand the psychology behind availability. When you're constantly at her beck and call, it can actually decrease your value in her eyes. You become predictable, and predictability breeds boredom. Women, like anyone, enjoy a sense of challenge and unpredictability. Here's the truth. If you're always available, you make it too easy for her to take you for granted. You're not giving her the chance to miss you, and as a result, you become background noise in her life. Men who are overly available often chase the wrong idea, thinking that their constant presence will make a woman appreciate them more. But in reality, the opposite happens. When you give her too much time and attention, you dilute your own worth because it shows that you have nothing better to do. Now, don't misunderstand. Being available when needed is essential. But there's a fine line between being there when it matters and constantly making yourself accessible. Being overly available signals that you lack your own life, your own interests, and your own commitments. A high-value man, on the other hand, has his own life, his own passions, and his own goals. He doesn't revolve around anyone else, and especially not a woman. This creates an aura of mystery and attractiveness, because she knows you're someone who can stand on his own 2 feet. Don't be afraid to have a life outside of her. Focus on your friends, your hobbies, your career, and your personal growth. When she sees that you have your own priorities, she'll respect you more. And when you do spend time with her, it will be on your terms, not because you're desperate to fill a void. A man who isn't constantly available is seen as a man of value because he has standards and boundaries. He's not just hanging around waiting for her to come around. He's doing his own thing. This is what makes him more desirable. For example, imagine she texts you at 2 a.m. asking if you're free to hang out. If you're always available, you'll drop everything and rush to be with her. But instead, you can pause for a moment. Make her wait a little. Don't respond right away. You have your own things going on, and that shows. This small change in behavior can shift the power dynamic. and make her realize that you're a man with boundaries and a life of your own. 8. Let her earn your attention. One of the most overlooked principles in relationships is that attention should be earned, not freely given. Many men make the mistake of giving too much attention without making the woman work for it. The result? She begins to take you for granted, and your value starts to drop in her eyes. In relationships, attention is a form of currency. Just like you wouldn't hand over your money without a second thought, why would you give your attention away without making her deserve it? Men often fall into the trap of overcommitting too early, showering their partner with affection, compliments, and undivided attention from the start. This feels good in the moment, but it creates a power imbalance. She becomes accustomed to having you at her fingertips, and as a result, your value as a man diminishes. The key is to let her earn your attention. Don't be so quick to give it away. This doesn't mean playing games or acting cold, but rather it's about maintaining your self-respect and not putting her on a pedestal. If you're always available to listen to her every need, to respond immediately, or to drop everything for her, you're sending the message that your attention is cheap. It's like showing up to the party without being invited. You're too eager. Instead, let your attention be something she has to work for. Make sure she sees you as a man of value who doesn't just give it away because someone asked for it. Your attention should be a gift, and like any gift, it should be earned. If she values you, if she respects you, and if she puts in the effort, she'll start to see you as someone worth her time and attention in return. The more you demand respect and maintain your boundaries, the more likely she'll want to put in the effort. Women are attracted to men who are not easily won. When they know they need to earn your attention, they value it more, and in turn, they value you more as a person. Remember, when your attention is given freely, it loses its impact. But when it's earned, it creates a healthy dynamic of mutual respect. This shift will not only help you maintain your value, but it will also strengthen the relationship. Give her the opportunity to show you why she deserves your time, and you'll be amazed at how much more she'll appreciate it. 9. Don't fear losing her. Fear losing yourself. One of the biggest mistakes men make in relationships is fearing the loss of the woman more than fearing the loss of themselves. It's as if they think that losing her will define them, will take away their value. Let's be clear. You should never allow a woman to be the source of your identity. When a man gets so consumed by the idea of losing someone, he starts to compromise his own values, his own goals, and his own happiness in the pursuit of keeping her. You see it all the time. Men changing who they are, giving up their passions, and sacrificing their purpose just to keep a woman happy. But here's the harsh truth. A woman doesn't respect a man who has lost himself for her. Instead, she'll begin to resent him for not having the strength to stay true to who he is. And eventually, she'll walk away anyway. If you're so afraid of losing her, then you've already lost yourself. A woman wants a man who is grounded in his own purpose, who is secure in who he is, without needing validation from anyone else. When you let fear of losing her control you, you're basically saying that she's more important than your own integrity. But no woman is worth more than your sense of self, your personal growth, or your aspirations. You need to wake up. The moment you place a woman above yourself is the moment you start losing respect, not just from her, but from everyone around you, including yourself. A woman will never respect a man who doesn't respect himself first. She wants a man who can stand on his own, who can walk away from her without fear of losing everything. And that's the kind of man who attracts the right kind of woman. So, don't fear losing her. Fear the day you look in the mirror and no longer recognize the man staring back at you. Fear losing your own path, your own strength, and your own growth. That's the real loss. Stay focused on your own life, your own purpose, and keep evolving. When you stop fearing the loss of her and start focusing on becoming the best version of yourself, you'll see that your value doesn't rely on her presence. It stands firm on your own worth. Wake up, gentlemen. Fear the loss of yourself, not her. That's the path to respect, attraction, and a stronger relationship. 10. High-value men don't compete. They attract. If you want to be the kind of man who draws respect, admiration, and genuine attraction from women, you need to stop competing. High-value men don't fight for attention. They don't chase. And they certainly don't try to prove their worth to anyone. They attract because they know their own value is undeniable. Let's face it, men who feel the need to compete for a woman's attention are usually the ones who aren't sure of themselves. They think that if they work harder, push more, or show off more, it will make them irresistible. But the reality is far different. Women are attracted to men who are confident in their own worth, not men who are constantly trying to prove themselves to everyone. Think about it. The more you try to compete or chase, the more you're saying, "I don't believe in my value unless you do." That's a sign of insecurity, and women can smell it from a mile away. Women want a man who's so comfortable in his skin that he doesn't need to fight for their attention. He simply commands it. When you compete, you lower your value in the eyes of others, including the woman you're trying to win over. High-value men understand that their time and attention are precious. They don't waste energy trying to win over someone who isn't already drawn to them. Instead, they focus on becoming the best version of themselves, pursuing their passions, and living their life with purpose. This naturally attracts the right people, including women who recognize the quality in them. Instead of competing, you need to create an aura of confidence and strength that naturally pulls people in. Women don't want to be won over through competition or manipulation. They want to feel that they are lucky to be in your life, that your attention is a gift they have to earn, not something you hand out easily. Here's the secret. When you stop trying to compete for her attention, you'll become the man she can't help but chase. It's counterintuitive, but it works. You attract when you stop seeking validation from anyone, including women. A high-value man's appeal is rooted in his quiet confidence and his refusal to compete with anyone. So stop competing, stop chasing, and start attracting. High-value men know that their worth isn't up for debate. It's something that speaks for itself. And when you truly embody this mindset, women won't be able to resist the pull of your confidence and presence. Here's the truth no one wants to hear. Women are not as interested in your efforts as they are in your ability to make them feel special. That's right. All the chasing, all the competing, it doesn't matter if she doesn't feel that spark, that energy that comes from a man who is secure and doesn't need her approval. The real secret? She will return to you when she feels you are worth the chase, not when she feels like you're chasing her. It's time to wake up, men. If you're constantly giving, constantly proving, you're not a high-value man. You're just a man in search of validation. You're not creating attraction, you're creating neediness. High-value men do not need to beg for attention. They naturally attract it. But here's where I want you to get involved. Comment below with your experiences. I want to hear your stories, your struggles, and your breakthroughs. Let's create a real conversation. I'll personally reach out because this isn't just about a video. It's about connection. If you felt this truth hit you, then it's time to take action. The road to being a high-value man is a journey, and you're not alone.